Hi guys. So, according to the weatherman, we have a pretty bad cold snap coming in the next day or so. So, I decided that what I would do is I would make some chili. And when you make chili, when I make chili, I like beans in my chili, so pinto beans. So I realized I was gonna need some stuff in the store, and I was gonna need, one of the things I thought I was gonna need was pinto beans. And then the thought occurred to me that I had here at the house an ongoing experiment that I had started about, 4.5 years or so ago. See all the dog toys under the couch. They like the bottles. They like to chew them up. That's their couch. They have their own couch. I have mine. Um, so about 4.5 years ago, July of 2014, my excuse me, my now ex-girlfriend and I had been talking about putting some food aside, or putting some just basic supplies aside, in case we had a real bad storm or whatever. Both of us having grown up in this area, when we were kids, the power used to go out a lot. We used to have problems with that, and it'd be out for days or so. And things have gotten a lot better with that as they do better maintenance on the lines and that sort of thing. But when I was living with her and over at her house, where she was located, there's only two ways that you could get into where we were living, and one of those was at the time blocked because they were replacing a bridge. And winter was coming and what have you, and we got to talking about what could we do in a pinch if we had no power, and what could we make. And we decided, since we heated most of the house with a wood stove, that what we would probably be able to do is, at the very least, we'd be able to, cook in the pans, boil water. We might not necessarily be able to bake, but we certainly, wouldn't be stoveless per se, because we could do it on the wood stove. So we thought about what we could put away, and of course, I'm back at my old house where I grew up. It's an old farmhouse, and I have, as you can see over there, I have wood heat as well. So the same thing applies for me. I've got a wood stove. I could cook on the wood stove, what have you. So the question became, what can we put away? Not necessarily that's going to last for like ever, but at least that will last a year or two, that we could rotate out and we can use, but that we could cook if we didn't have electric. And basically what we came up with, the idea was just basically, pinto beans and rice, dried beans, dried rice, and a few other things. And we did that in July of 2014. And then, through circumstances, her and I split up. I moved back here, this, that, and the other. So what started out as basically just, putting some food away has kind of become an experiment at this point. These two buckets here were closed up in July of 2014. We filled them up, closed them up, and they've been sitting under my kitchen counter ever since. Now, again, like I say, I grew up, this is in this place. It's an old farmhouse. We do have problems sometimes with field mice. We have problems with weevils, that sort of thing, because I am on the East Mid-Atlantic coast. So I thought I would just go ahead and let them go and see how well they lasted, and this and that and the other. And then, like I say, today, I decided, you know what, I'm going to make chili. So I thought I would go ahead and open these up. Now, I actually have 4 buckets, but I have 2 that have beans and rice in them, and 2 that have other stuff in them. So I figured I'd open them up and see what kind of condition they're in, and see how they turned out. Now, with these, all I did is basically just threw the lids on them. They're standard Lowe's, hardware store buckets. You can see from the dust that they've been sitting for a while. And they're just, the lids aren't sealed or anything else. They're just, popped on there the way they normally would be. And they're sitting underneath. So let's take a look inside, open them up, see what we got in them, see what kind of condition it's in. And then if the beans are in any kind of condition, I'm going to use them for rice. So one of the things we did is we made a list of what's in here. Now, this bucket is pretty much that instant mashed potatoes that comes in a bag. Now, admittedly, you're supposed to use butter and milk with these and what have you, but in a pinch, they're not terrible with water. And we thought we'd, throw them in and what have you. So here, out of that package, this is the list of what's in here and what we paid for them in 2014 when we bought them, and what this ends up being as far as amounts. Now, I'm not going to cook any of these tonight, but I'm going to take them out and see, because like I said, we had problems here with weevils and things like that sometimes, and I didn't go through any kind of special process to put these away. We just threw them in a bucket, because the plan was, every year or so, we would rotate this stuff out and use it, and that kind of didn't happen. But I just want to go ahead and pull these out and see, because now now this seems like a lot, but one thing to keep in mind, we were a family of 4, and then we always had company and this, that, and the other, including a lot of teenage boys. So you're talking feeding a lot of people. So let me pull these out. I'm going to put these back in, but I just want to get down the bottom of the bucket here, and I'm not seeing really a whole lot of remains of, any kind of infestation from bugs or anything else like that. I'm not seeing really any evidence down in here of that. Now, from a nutritional standpoint, I don't know what the expiration date on these things is. I don't know when they would go bad. But again, like I say, our thought process was, just to have stuff that we could get by in a pinch and have something to put in our bellies to eat and what have you. Now, it looks like from this that the expiration is June of 2015. Now, keep in mind that's a best before date. Best before dates are not expiration dates. It just means that before that date is when it's going to be the best quality. Doesn't mean you can't eat it after that date. Just means that that's when the best quality is. Now, feeling these packages, they feel like they're still soft. They're not caked up or anything else. And I'm not seeing holes or anything in any of this. So to me, it looks like this bucket has done well. Now, given the fact that these are almost 5 years old, I'm going to put these back in here, but I'm going to not probably store them for too much longer. I'm going to start eating these. But 5 years, heck, that's not a bad amount of time. I don't know how much they cost me then versus how much they cost me now. I don't think the price has changed a whole lot. But that ain't terrible. So there we go. So there's the mashed potatoes, and that'll keep me warm in the winter times, right? And then this, on the other hand, this is the beans and rice. And there's also spices in here. So what I did is I got myself a great big bag of beans, a great big bag of rice from Walmart, and we repackaged them. And let me open this up here, if I can get it open here. So this is the list of the stuff we got that is in this bucket and what it cost us to make it per these items. Because like I say, I broke down the rice and the beans into 4-cup packets, and figured out how many I got out of a big bag. How much it cost me for the food savers. I also put some candy and stuff in there because you're bored and it's snowing and you got no electricity. You gotta have something to do. And then since it's beans and rice and that's pretty plain, I just went to the dollar store and I got a bunch of the dollar store spices. And I just threw them in there too. Again, I didn't package any of this stuff other than the beans and the rice to break them down into any kind of fancy, I didn't put nitrogen in it, and I didn't put oxygen depleters in it or anything else. I just threw it all in there, and this is them 5 years later. Well, 4.5, not really 5, because as you see, it's 714. Now, one thing I did discover with rice, and you'll notice this one is really loose as far as I can smash it and what have you. These food saver bags don't work so well with rice. The rice punctures this smooth side of the bag, and they vent out. So when I did this, these most of them almost immediately lost their vacuum seal. But I'm feeling this and looking at it, and I'm not seeing really any bugs in it. I'm not seeing any contaminants in it. I don't know what the quality is. We're going to find out, because we're going to make some rice when we make our chili. We're going to make some rice to put it on. But it's dried rice. I don't foresee it being bad. But anyway, there's the one packet, and then like I say, I got a bunch of these spices. You know, this is paprika. It looks like it's still pretty loose in the jar. You know how, spices, they sit too long up in the cabinet, they get all hard and chunky, but that looks like it's not too bad. And this is what do we got here? We got chopped onions, and again, I mean, you can hear it, they seem loose in there. So I don't think the water's really bothering them too much. We get a lot of humidity here in the summer. None of it seems to have bothered any of this stuff. Now I could have probably repackaged this stuff into smaller packages and stuff, but I kind of figured, you know what? They come this way, they're already sealed. I'll go ahead and just throw them in there sealed and not mess with the sealing, the seal that's on them, and we'd go from there. Now, this, no, okay. This looks okay too. I thought at first that was a crack. It's not. It's just the label. So there's some crushed peppers. The idea was just, since we were going to be eating very bland, plain rice and beans, was to add some sort of spices or ingredients to it that we could kind of make it taste like something, and if we really came to it and it got for too long, we'd always go out squirrel hunting. So, what do we got here? We got powdered chicken flavored bouillon. Now some of these look like they got a little mashed, in putting them in here. But again, it's mashed, but I'm not really seeing, as far as I can tell, any kind of infestation. I mean, they look all right to me. Looking at it here, let me put it under the light and see what I can see here. It looks okay. I mean, I'll have to open it up and see what it looks like. But this is zesty seasoned salt, and it looks like seasoned salt to me. I don't see a whole lot of anything bad in there. I mean, I'll have to open it up and see, but it looks all right. So that's, this is all seasoning. Now, like I say, it's been sitting in there, and so it's a little caked in some of them, but I mean, it's not terrible. I could, bang that on the counter and there we go. And it loosens right up. I mean, it's, more settlage, I guess, than it is anything else. But I mean, now that I've got them out, I'm gonna use them. We get Memphis style barbecue. Spring's right around the corner, so it'll be time to do some barbecuing and stuff. So I'll be using it. But again, I don't see anything bad in it. Now, is that a Best Buy date? Best Buy 2017. This is 2019, so that ain't so bad. So see what how this candy is. Now, this candy is just all dollar store stuff. The point wasn't to buy best quality stuff or anything else. It was to put something away for cheap and be able to just have it to use. So I've got some hard candies. They look to be okay. I mean, they don't seem fine to me. That seems fine to me. Now, what do we got here? There's something right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see what this is. See if I can. I don't know. Can't tell what that is. Speck of dust or dirt or something. I don't know. Camera won't even focus on it. It ain't moving, whatever it is. So it must have just been something that kind of got in there. Some mints and one more thing of spices, black pepper. So there we go, man. We got plenty of spices. So now we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the one I pulled out earlier is 5 bags of rice. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of beans. Now, like I say, the rice, it's loose. It's lost its vacuum. Let's see if some of these other ones have. Now, this one's still pretty solid. This one's got a little bit of give to it, but it feels like it's still got the vacuum seal to it. So, like I was saying with the rice, I found it was kind of a hit or a miss on vacuum sealing the rice in these vacuum seal bags, just these food saver bags. Now, this one's solid. You could hurt somebody with this. I could hit somebody with this and do some damage. That is solid. So, it was kind of, excuse me, like I say, hit or miss on whether these sealed up or lost their seal, because what happens is the little pokey end of the rice pokes through the plastic. But that one looks okay too. This one has lost its vacuum. Now there's something right there. Is that, can't tell what that is. Doesn't look like it's inside of where the seal is. I can see. So I don't know what that is, whether that's actually something or what. When I open this rice up, I'll have to open it up into a pot of water or something and see if there's anything floats to the top. But even if it's that, if that's all that's in there is that one little weevil, that's pretty damn good. If that's even a weevil. And you know what? That's protein is what my grandfather used to say. Now the beans, on the other hand, I sealed these. This is still solid. These are still sealed real nice. So I got one. Again, that one's sealed real nice. That one's still solid and vacuum. That one's still solid and vacuum. So the beans kept their seal, which if they've kept their vacuum seal, that tells me nothing got in them. So I'm happy with that. I trust the fact that nothing has gotten into these. Now, mind you, it was a great big 5-pound bag or whatever it was from Walmart. So obviously, you know, there's going to be some field stuff in them. But I don't see anything in the bottom of this bucket. Now, I know some of you guys are going to say, "Oh, well, they're Lowe's buckets. They're not meant to store food," and you're right. But I'm not storing food directly in them. I've got this food wrapped up and packaged, so it's not really against the plastic. It's not, in my opinion, being contaminated by the plastic. And the intention was never to go 5 years. It was only to go, you know, a year or so at a time and rotate this stuff out. Because we do eat, you know, we do eat chili. We did eat chili. We did eat, you know, meals with rice. So, you know, that was the plan, was to rotate this stuff out. But when I got over here, I got doing other things. So it's been, like I say, it's been sitting for 5 years. And I just wanted to see, and, you know, at first it was just I hadn't gotten to it. And after about year 2, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it go. And if it wasn't for the fact that I want to make chili, I would probably have left it go for the entire full 5 years. But I think this certainly shows that even just with a little bit of going to the store and throwing some stuff away, or throwing some stuff in a bucket, you can have a pretty good start to some kind of an emergency supply. Now, this is not by any means going to last me through some war or some mess like that, but that's not me. I'm not prepping to do those kinds of things. I'm just wanting to have some stuff that I can put away and store in the off chance that maybe we lose power for a little while over the winter or something, or even during the spring, you know, or the summer, and I got something that I can eat. So there we go. Maybe I can't get to the store because we had a storm come through and knock all the trees down and take all the power with it. Who knows? But, you know, at my age, I'm 55. You know, I'm not going to be around for another 50, 60 years, probably. At least, you know, in any kind of shape that I'm going to go, you know, go out and drive to the store. But for now, you know, that's 5 years. I'll be 60 by the time this, you know, by the time I would open this up again. So I think that was a good deal. I think it was a good experiment. I'll show you guys after I make the chili. I'll make another video and we'll see what kind of condition this rice is in, and we'll see what kind of condition this beans is in, and whether they cooked up and they ended up being nasty and I just throw it away, or whether it ends up being something good. So I'll be back for a part 2, but this is, you know, for now, this is it. And back to the dogs for a minute, because they're looking and trying to figure out what I'm doing. That's old Mr. Ralph here, and that's old Miss Rhonda up there. And they're rescues. They were a mated pair that somebody dumped after they got heartworms and stuff, and I ended up with them. They're probably, the vet figures between 7 and 10 years old, something like that. So they got their own couch, and that's what they do all day, is they sleep on the couch and they go out and pee. And then when I go to bed, they get real excited because they're getting ready to go up and go to bed. And they get all excited and go up and go back to sleep. So, hi, Ralph. You gonna say hi to everybody? Say hi now. Say hi. Alright, guys, so there it is. I will let you know how this chili turned out, and we'll go from there. Bye for now.